and welcome to the Transformative Principal Podcast. I'm excited to have you here today. We're going to be interviewing Sandra Dahl-Houlihan, a great Title I principal in Canyon School District. This happens to be the school district we both work for, and our views expressed herein are ours and ours alone, and do not necessarily reflect those of our employer, as is the case in all of my podcasts. But I had a great chat with her, and I am excited for you to listen to it. Sandra has a very relaxed and calming personality, and when you are with her, you feel like you can be yourself. There's never any judgment. She's a great person, and I'm really excited for you to hear what she has to say today. As always, I'd like to thank our sponsor for this episode, Paperless Principal. Please go to paperlessprincipal.com and learn how you can streamline your workflow and make your life a whole lot easier. We're here with Sandra Dahl-Houlihan, who, if we look on her wall, it was the Canes Association of Elementary School Principals School District Community Leader, the Jordan School District Rookie of the Year, the Distinguished Principal of the Year, and she won an award from the Center for the Improvement of Teacher Education and Schooling, and is also a National Board Certified Teacher. So she's pretty awesome. So tell us, Sandra, about some of the things. Tell us first about your school, how you got here, why you're here, what your favorite things are about your school.
Okay. I am happy to be the principal of Sandy Elementary, home of the Sharks. This is my 7th year here. I've actually been an administrator for 8 years. My first year as an administrator, I was an assistant principal at 2 elementaries for a few minutes, and then for the rest of the time, I was at one school, Hayden Peak Elementary, and I loved it. My background is high school. I was a high school English teacher for 15 years, and when I went into administration, I thought I would do middle school. Because of my family situation, I thought a middle school administrator would be the best for me. I did my internship in the middle school, and I did my internship in the elementary and fell in love with elementary. So here I am now, elementary, and I've loved it. I was assigned fall 2007 to come to Sandy as a new principal in a Title I school. Challenge, absolutely. I remember thinking, Title what? What is Title I? Well, I've learned a whole bunch about Title I in my 7 years here. Boy, I love this school. I love this school a lot, and I love what we do here. Especially, I love our kids. Mm-hmm. It's great to be in a school. We're roughly, well, depending on the day, between 65, 70. We've been up to 75% free reduced lunch. And with that comes opportunities and challenges. And I believed from the beginning that these kids here deserve the best education they can get. I also believe that they deserve to be educated more holistically, that it's important that we do academics for our kids, and especially in reading and math, because that's where our kids struggle, but also that they have opportunities to experience the arts. That's very important to me. So when I first came to Sandy, I took that first year and kind of learned a lot. More about elementary, more about elementary curriculum, more about Title I. I knew I wanted to feel good at school, and I knew I wanted teachers to feel good, and I knew I wanted our kids to feel safe and feel comfortable here at school. So that's always been important to me. I believe I am a people person, and I wanted people to feel like they were home when they were here. So that was one of my big goals, to make people feel comfortable. Staff was great. I did see a few staff members the first year that I raised my eyebrows at. And a lot of them were close to retirement. Hooray. But as the years have progressed, we've become a little more fine-tuned with our staff, finding those people that are just right for this school, who have those traits and characteristics and qualities that fit into our family here, and who know what they're doing and who have an energy about them and who love kids. So it's been great. I love hanging with the kids, and something about the school that I think we've done well here is that we do things for the whole child. The last few years we've had a school play where every child is invited to participate. They're singing and dancing. We have an orchestra that travels, or that starts, not travels, but has 3 nights a week. They're part of our school family, and do performances for our rest of our kids. So our kids have an opportunity to see and hear and participate in an orchestra. We also do our school choir, run by volunteers, and they draw around 100 people, 100 kids usually every year, and our singing sharks put on a great show at the end of the year. So that's part of what we do to make ourselves a really great place to learn and be.
So you said a few very interesting things in there. One is your desire to have a more holistic education. And then you've been able to get volunteers to run your choir. Do volunteers run your orchestra as well?
The person who runs our orchestra is actually paid by the district.
Okay.
And she works through the EBL office, through the fine arts rep there.
Okay.
And is paid salary for that.
Right. That's really good. And I think that's really important. I know that in Title I schools, sometimes the holistic and the arts can get pushed to the side because there's such a focus on the students' low academic skills.
Right.
How do you make sure that that's still a priority at your school?
Well, our teachers work so hard with academics, and, new curriculum has come around for our teachers the last few years in reading and in math, and that's taken a lot of the teachers' time, and that's really what we focus on as a Title I school. We're always looked at for our academic growth and our progress. And that's exciting, and it's scary too, because we want our kids to be proficient. We want them to do well. We want them to be contributing citizens. But we also want them to appreciate some of those little finer things of life, the things that bring us joy, like music, like dancing, recreation. So part of our rotations during the day include art and music. And we brought in a program called Meet the Masters, where the kids are actually doing more artistic projects. In fact, we have a business partner, EXL, here in Sandy, Utah, and they asked us, because they're providing things for our school, and in return they asked us to provide decorations for their Christmas tree. And as a professional, I was a little concerned about art projects. However, during our Meet the Masters art rotation, we did create Christmas decorations for trees based on the colors of Monet. The kids were studying Monet. And so the extension of that exercise was developing Christmas decorations in themes or color themes that Monet would use. How do you like that? It's perfect.
That's pretty awesome.
And we sing a lot of songs and learn music and get introduced to various artists in our music rotation. Our kids do. So they get those opportunities.
That's really cool. There are a couple of principals that I know on the internet. John Ross and Nick and Deglio, they do a podcast called the Rockstar Principals Podcast, and they say that their research is showing that principals become effective when they have been at the same place. Well, they can be effective from the beginning, but they're at their most effective as it relates to student achievement by the time they get to their 7th year. So it takes 7 years. 7 years to learn how to be a good enough principal that you can have a huge impact on student achievement. What do you think about that?
Wow, you know what? This is my 7th year. Am I getting the 7-year itch? I don't know. Well, and that's interesting to think about, because for me, I don't have a background in elementary. I've never taught elementary kids. So for me, that was a curriculum, and teaching elementary kids was my struggle. And so I know for myself, before I could be a true instructional leader for these teachers, I needed to know more about what they were teaching, the curriculum. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning so much. I feel much more confident in my own skills when it comes to coaching teachers in an elementary level and knowing curriculum. At 7 years, wow. I think that I'm feeling pretty good. I know what we need to do. Are we there yet? Of course not. Are we ever there? That's why it's called educational reform. You know, really. Are we ever done? We're never done. That's an interesting concept. I will think about that because I think we're at a really good place here. Mm-hmm. Are we done? Never. But we're in a good place. We have found what works for us as far as a school-wide structure. Mm-hmm. We have found what's working for us as far as programs. Our teams are more cohesive, but when it comes to truly instructing kids and making that progress and that achievement, there are still so many nuances there we need to fine tune. So we're getting there. Right. I mean, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah. So I've had occasion to be in your school a little bit this year, subbing and just helping out, and that's been a really neat experience. When I've talked to teachers about you and as a principal, they've always been very complimentary about how they recognize how much you appreciate them. They recognize how much you care about them, that you're aware of the needs of the students, and a lot of other things that we'll probably talk about in a little bit. But let's talk first about how you pay attention to so many students in who come from difficult home lives with a lot of students who are living in poverty. How do you stay attuned to their needs and make sure that you are aware of what they need?
You know, I admire principals who know every child's name at the school. I'm not one of those. Mm-hmm. I don't know every kid at my school, but I know their faces and I know what they're interested in. I know who I need to watch closely, mm-hmm. who I need to give more positives to. If nothing else, I feel like at this school, I try to really be positive with those kids. A kid will do anything for a high five in the hall. Mm-hmm. And if I don't know their name, they're my bud. You know, they're, hey, bud, how's it going? I mean, and taking time to talk to kids. Mm-hmm. In fact, when I've been met with 2 students today for some discipline concerns. And before we even started going over the concern, we just talked a little bit. And one kid shared with me a lot of stuff about his family and actually broke down. A 5th grade boy broke down and was crying. And unrelated to the incident at hand, and I just thought, Sandra, this is your time to just bond with that kid and spend time with that kid and deal with this kid on this other level. And if he trusts you, he'll be honest with you and tell you really what happened today in this situation. And it was good. I'm a talker, and I've learned that I shouldn't talk sometimes. I just need to be quiet and wait, and kids will tell you things. Mm-hmm. And so I think just that smile and that positive and that high five. I'll tell you what else I love to do with kids. I love to eat lunch with kids. I sit in the cafeteria and I eat my lunch with the kids, and they think it's the biggest thrill, and I have a great time with those kids. Sometimes in 5th grade, they're not so interested in having the principal sit with them. But boy, those little ones, it's a big deal. I've heard parents have come to me and said, yeah, I heard you had lunch with my kid yesterday. Mm-hmm. What a great time. What a great time.
That's really good. So now let's talk a little bit about the teachers that you work with and the things that you do to let them know that you appreciate them. And obviously that's a big thing for you. Because you did a little cheer when I said that earlier, and also your teachers have said that many times. So why is that so important, and what do you do to show that to teachers?
You know, I've had people tell me when they walk into Sandy Elementary, it just feels good here. It feels positive and feels happy. It's a great place to be, and I love that. Like I said, I'm a people person, and I want people to feel safe. I want them to feel comfortable, and I want people to have fun. I love my staff so much. I love to laugh with them and giggle with them and talk about our favorite TV shows or the funny commercial that we've seen or something on the internet that we viewed together. I feel like, you know what, I'm separate from you, but I am with you. Mm-hmm. I really try to praise in weekly bulletins and things for their work. When I hear teachers say they haven't been praised or they don't feel appreciated, it breaks my heart, because I want my teachers to feel that I appreciate them. Something I do at Christmas time, I write personal letters. I call them my Christmas love letters for every member of the staff. Every full-time staff member, part-time. This past year, I wrote 93 letters, and they were all personalized for every student. In fact, can I brag for a minute? Thanks. We have a wonderful new employee in our cafeteria, and she's from Brazil. And her English is very good, but she struggles a little bit. So as I was writing her letter, I did half of it in English and half of it in Portuguese.
That's very cool.
Because I thought, you know what, I need to have her know that I appreciate her here. We've laughed about a few things. I've tried to speak a little Portuguese with her, and I'm terrible. I don't speak any of that. But I wanted her to feel that I knew her, that I knew who she was and where she came from. So that was great. So I try to make all my letters very personal. I do not hesitate to hug my teachers. We recently had a death of a teacher at our school. And it was very upsetting, and it still is very upsetting for so many of our staff. We miss her. This just happened about a month ago, so barely happened. And as we came together as a staff to talk about her and reminisce and mourn together, we were close, and we held hands, and we hugged each other and cried together. And I loved being a part of that, and feeling not removed, but feeling that we're all in this together, and let's just love and support each other. How can a teacher feel appreciated or respond when he or she is not supported and feels removed? It is hard, because as an instructional leader, as a principal, we do have to sometimes reprimand or correct. But I think you just learn to listen or pause, and you praise. I met with a teacher last night I was concerned about, and had to address several issues with her. And I was concerned about the meeting, because I knew it was going to be rough, and would not be a happy meeting, and she would probably not receive things well. I started the meeting telling her of the growth I'd already seen in her, and how pleased I was with her progress. I shared with her my concerns, and I also shared with her a plan I had for her, and I also told her that I wanted her here. Despite all these concerns, I had hired her, I believed in her, and I wanted her here, and I wanted to work with her. We cried together, because this was a pretty big deal, and we hugged at the end. And I saw her this morning. I hugged her again and told her I believed in her, and we were going to work together to make this happen. Because we're dealing with teachers, but we're dealing with people.
Right.
And of course, I have to do what's best for my kids. Bottom line, what is best for kids? Who is the best teacher in that class for the kids? But we're dealing with people who have emotions and feelings, and lives outside of school, and unknown stress and pressures to me. So I want to feel like even under hard times, I can be kind and express my expectations and my requirements, but I still need to treat them with respect.
Right. And through those two different yet both very difficult situations, with the tragic passing of a teacher, which I can't imagine going through, and with letting someone know that their performance is not up to par, I imagine that your last 7 years of goodwill and kindness, especially that you mentioned, has built a reserve where you can go through those things with your teachers and have them bring you closer rather than push you away.
I sure hope so. In fact, I had an aide just tell me, she told me yesterday or today, it's all blending together, long days. She said, I have saved every letter you've written to me. And she says, when I read those, when I need a little up, I need to feel like I'm doing a good job and feel like I need to be recognized. That means a lot to me, that those letters have become personal, and that really it has built a reservoir for staff members. And in turn, I feel like staff members trust me and come to me for advice, that I have very much an open door policy, and let's laugh and let's cry and let's be together.
No, that's really amazing. One of the other things your teachers have said is that they feel like every interaction with you is real and not I'm too busy or I'm not really paying attention. And then even when I got here today, you said, let me finish this and save it. And then, you close your laptop and focus just on me instead of being distracted by other things I know you need to do because you got so much on your plate. Talk about how you give that individual attention to.
Well, that's pretty great because there are times I know I'm a great multitasker. Well, that's what educators do. We have to multitask. I try. I know I can improve on that, on giving my full and undivided attention to people. But I also think that's a form of respect. If I can truly give them time, truly give them... Okay, and where were we? Sorry about that, bud.
That's okay.
Okay, I can add something, though, right now, can't I?
Yeah.
Okay. A big deal for me is to thank people. I thank people all the time. And that's a conscientious thing I do. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I just think people need to feel that. Oh, I know what we were talking about. It just came back to me. Giving my attention to teachers and visiting with teachers. Okay. And I'm glad they feel that way because I know I can be distracted. And I want them to feel that their time with me is real, that I'm really listening. I have a tendency to talk too much. I have a tendency to offer suggestions before hearing the whole story. And so those are skills, those are things that I have to work on. But I'm glad my teachers, for the most part, feel that they are being heard and that they can come to me.
Yeah. What they said was that your open door policy is not just come on in and you can sit here, but it's open. I'll listen. I'll take feedback and concerns. So I think that's a really great thing as well.
Oh, thank you.
So one of the questions that I ask everybody is what's something that one principal can do this week to become a transformative principal more like you?
Wow. Gosh. You know what? I do my best. And I learned my mentor and one of my mentors, a person I did my internship in elementary. I learned so much from her she really shaped me into who I am, and I wanted to be her until I found out I wanted to be myself. Mm-hmm. But I learned things from her where she never seemed rushed. She gave people time, and she loved her job. The days were long, days were hard, and kids were a challenge, but she laughed. I heard her laugh a lot. I've worked with principals and administrators who don't laugh or smile. Mm-hmm. And finding that joy every single day makes a difference. And so that's what I would say. Laugh every day. Laugh with your staff. Smile at your kids, with your kids. Be the one to do the goofy things and to tell the jokes. Just because you know what? It's stressful. We know work is stressful and days are long and there's always something to complain about. Yeah. But we just have to laugh. And in fact, I have in my office during other times of the year a sign that says happy. I also have a sign that says laugh because those things are important to me. We have to be happy. We have to laugh. And by doing those things, it's going to cheer our faces. The stress is not going to be as strong, and it'll be a great place to be and learn every day.
Yeah, that's great. The last question that I always ask everybody is, what is something in your office that most people probably don't have in their offices that you think has a unique story or something that reminds you of the kind of principal that you should be?
Okay, easy one. All right, back in the corner right back there, I see it every day. I have that little figurine of kids. It looks like 1950s, 40s school kids hanging on a swing, and they're swinging. That was a gift given to me from the PTA. after my second or third year teaching or being a principal here at Sandy. It is significant to me for several reasons. First off, this school has been around a long time. There's been a school on this property for over 100 years. Wow. We're in historic Sandy. This is a very traditional place. So for the last 100 years, kids have played on these school grounds. And the key word there, they have played. They have had fun at school. Mm-hmm. So let's have fun at school. Let's make every day a joyful experience and make learning fun, make learning play, and have a great day.
Cool. That's really great. Okay, well, that is it. Thank you so much, Sandra. Sandra said some really great things in there, and she's just such a neat lady, and like I said in the beginning, you just feel so relaxed and at ease whenever you're around her. I hope that feeling is communicated to her teachers as well. I know it is to her students. That was a great interview. Really glad that you could listen to that. One thing I want to quickly comment on is I found it so fascinating that she was quick to say she's never going to know all the students' names in her school. And last week we listened to Dr. Villar, who said that he absolutely knows everybody's name in the school. And what I find amazing about that is that it doesn't really matter whether or not you know the kids' names per se, but they need to know that you love them and you care about them. And I think both of those principles exhibited that tremendously. If you have any questions or feedback for me, you can always get a hold of me at jethrojones@gmail.com or find me on Twitter at jethrojones. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.